Alright guys, here's 2.6, Relations and Functions, the worksheet we just did yesterday on Monday, October 10th. So we did most of it in class. Almost all of you finished this homework in class, which I'm super proud of you guys. But here is, just go over again one more time to make sure we understand. We talked about in class the difference between x's are the domain. So let's make a few little notes here. X values are my domain, and the y values is my range, are the range values, okay? So make that note to yourself so you don't forget. Like I told some of my classes, I like to think of this way. A lot of the students, they get confused, they forget, like, is domain the x or is domain the y? D comes before R in the alphabet. D for the domain comes before R for the range. Well, then if you look at it, X in the alphabet also comes before the Y. So first goes with first, second goes with second, okay? So domain, D comes first, X also comes first. Those are the two that goes together. Domain are the X values, okay? So they're saying identify the domain and the range of each relation. Well, an order pair, again, an order pair is always X, comma, Y. X comes first, Y comes second, just like in the alphabet. So identify the domain and range for each function. So I'm going to put D for the domain, and I would sort them out. The 2 is my X value, the 8 is my X value, the 9 and the 4. Those are my domain. Then I would identify the range, which is the Y value. The 4, the 11, the 1, and the 2. And here are my range. Okay? You'll be doing the same thing here. Every order pair is a X, comma, Y. X, comma, Y. 1, comma, 2.6, X, comma, Y. 0, comma, 2.5, X, comma, Y. So the X comes first, the Y's come second. We can sort them out. This is my domain, this is my range. And then it says, use a mapping diagram to determine whether the relation is a function. Well, the little mapping diagram looks like two little bubbles like this. And I'm going to put X values here and the Y values here. So I have 2, 8, 9, and 4, because I sort them out nicely over here. And I have the 4, 11, 1, and 2. So 2 goes with 4, 8 goes with 11, 9 goes with the 1, and 4 goes with the 2. So every X value has only one Y value that they are matched with. So yes, this is a function. Okay? So let's do one more time. The same exact concept, the same exact homework. Keep your homework nice and neat over here so you understand what you're doing. Here goes my domain. I'm going to pick only the X values. 6, then the 5, then the 2, and then another 2 so I don't have to repeat it. So let's do it again. Here's the 6, then the 5, then the 2, but then there's a 2 over here again. I'm not going to repeat it. Okay, I don't need to write the same number twice. There we go. Now let's write the range. The range, we have a 5 right there. Then I have a 6. Then I have a 2. Then I have a 6 again, so I don't need to write it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and match them up nicely in a mapping diagram. So I'm going to put my X's here and my Y's here. These are my domain, the X values. These are my range. But I like to look at over here. The 6, okay, right here. The 5, right there. And the 2, right there. Then I'm going to write my ranges here. The 5, the 6, and the 2, just like we got it. It looks like the 6 goes with the 5. The 5 goes with the 6. The 2 goes with the 2, but the 2 goes also with the 6. Okay? So when the 2 goes with the X value has two Y values, that is not a function. Okay? Not a function, because the definition of a function says every X value only matches up with one Y value, and it failed right here in this case. Okay? And you can see it right from here, right from the beginning, that that is not okay. Okay? And then it says, can you tell if something's a function by just looking at a graph? Well, let's take a look at over here. And it says, use the vertical line test. If I was to draw a vertical line right here, do I touch more than one point? No, I only touch one point. How about if I draw a vertical line here or a vertical line here? Nope, this is definitely a function. Yes, it is a function. And here, if I was to draw a vertical line anywhere on my graph, am I touching more than one point in the function? No, I'm not. I'm only touching one point. Doesn't matter where I drop my vertical line. So this is also, yes, it is a function. Okay? And then that's pretty much what you're doing in this worksheet. Most of you finished all this in class. You understood it really well. But then there's this part over here where you have to plug in the domain, you input the domain, and you get out the range. So I'm going to only do one problem if time allows here. I have f of x equals negative 4x plus 3, and I'm supposed to plug in all of these values over here. So I'm going to do it on a bigger piece of paper because this is too small for me. I have f of x equals negative 4x plus 3, and the domain they gave me here of negative 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. They gave me these values. So pretty much what I'm going to do is f of, instead of an x, I'm going to pick my very first x here, which is negative 1. I'm going to plug it in, negative 4 times, instead of an x, we're going to have negative 1 plus 3. Okay? We must use PEMDAS. PEMDAS. I got to do multiplication or division before I add anything to my calculation. So my f of negative 1 equals negative 4 times a negative 1 is a positive 4. And then I'm okay to add the 3 at the end. So the answer is a 7. So when I plugged in a negative 1, here's my very first number that came out was a 7. Okay? And we're going to do this for a 0. F of 0. What happens when I replace the x value on my function with a 0? Negative 4 times a 0 plus a 3. Well, let's see what we get here. Negative 4 times a 0. Anything times 0 is 0. Plus a 3. Well, 0 plus 3 is just 3. So when I plugged in a 0 for x, I got a 3 for y. Okay? And you're going to be doing the same exact thing for all of these domains. What happens when I plug in, instead of an x, a number 1? Negative 4 times the 1 plus the 3. So you carefully work this out one by one. So this is going to equal negative 4 times the 1 is negative 4. Now you are allowed to add the 3. So negative 4 plus the 3 is a negative 1. So the funny thing is I plugged in a positive 1, I got out a negative 1. You never know what you're going to get. You have to calculate it slowly. Okay? You can't just assume things. So as you can see, that is how you're going to be doing this kind of problems right here. And you're going to, the function is given to you, the domain is given to you, the x values. These are all x values. What we're trying to get here is the y values. Okay? For every x value you put in, you will get a y value out. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 x values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I better have 5 y values. Okay? Because for every number I plug in for x, I get a y value out. And that's pretty much what you would do here. It says use the given domain to find the range and create a table. I was not creating a table here on my problem, but you can create a table. X, comma, y. I plugged in a negative 1, I got a 7. I plugged in a 0, I got a 3. I plugged in a 1, I got a negative 1. Okay, it's just how you are rearranging, just a different, it's just a different way to organize the information. But the concept is always the same, we're just organizing it differently, okay? The x values are here, the y values are here, the x values are organized here, and the y values are organized here. So please continue this problem and finish the rest of the domain and range pairing up of pairs here, okay? And unfortunately I ran out of time, but I might create a second video and try to finish a couple more problems here for the number 10 and for the number 12. Okay, so you might have 2 little chopped up videos of how to solve this, but the concept is the same. You're going to be plugging in negative 4 in here for x, then you're going to plug in a negative 2, and then you can plug in a 0, a 1, and a 3. So your range should have the same number of answers. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 x values. You better have 5 y values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You better have 5 y values, okay? So plug it in carefully. Remember if PEMDAS. PEMDAS says I have to do exponents first, then multiply, then add and subtract. So in this case, I would take care of my exponent first, then subtract, okay? So I will let you do that on your own. I would love for you to try it first and then come and show it to me, and I would love to check to see if your answers match mine, okay? So good luck on this homework. Bye.